Welcome to John S. Sports Channel, where we are once again doing the League One predictions, and this time it's Tuesday the 18th of February, which is week 32B for those teams that actually had all those games postponed earlier on in the season. We're going to stay where we're going to go from top to bottom still, shall we? Crawley versus Wigan. I was going to do it the other way around. Crawley-Wigan is a difficult one for me because I've seen lots of other people struggling as well. We've got Crawley in 21st. They have been so long playing 35-45 minutes of great football. Great football. And then suddenly dropping off a cliff for the rest of the game. They're in 21st on 28 points. Wigan are at 18th on 34, really surprising me. They were mid-table like I expected, and then they just started to have a few poor games. However, things have changed for both teams of late. For Crawley Town, it's been lose, win, lose, lose, win, draw. Now, those last two, Stevenage win 3-1. They played pretty well, and yeah, they did have a really good period, but they had a good-ish period for the rest of it. Very interesting. And again, Wycombe, they went ahead and they played really well for a while, and then they just seemed to drop off a little bit. But they didn't drop off quite as much. And I've noticed of late, they've not quite been doing this huge drop off a cliff and play absolutely garbage, which is probably something that they did in several places. Exeter, I think, is one where they went miles ahead, and an Exeter fan told me, we were about to go home at half time, and it was like, was it 4-1, 3-1, and it ended up being 4-4. Yeah, and that's what they've been doing, but not of late, not really of late. And what's happened down at Crawley? Have they started just to edge this idea that we can't do it for just a period? We've got to lower the tempo down and spread it a little bit more even, and the fans will enjoy it more and they'll win more. So that's my idea from Crawley. Wigan, lose, win, lose, draw, lose, lose. It's really the Wigan train's just dropped, hasn't it? But they can play some good football, and on the whole, that team is more skillful than the Crawley side, if they can get a tune out of it. And my worry is that, can they get a tune out of it? Now, I don't believe for 1 minute that the management that are at Wigan are just going to think, well, we're on the beach, let's just leave it. You're far too close to that bottom four. I think that they will turn it around, and I think they will. They're going to be starting soon. Usually about 5 or 6 games poor in the middle of a season for most League One sides. I can see, although it's nearly the whole season for Rotherham, I can see this working just at the point where we're going to start to go better. I'm going to go Crawley 1, Wigan 1, and we'll move on to the next game. Our next game is Mansfield-Lincoln, and this is a tale of two poor performances, isn't it? This really is. Mansfield Town, lose, draw. Now, they really should have won that one. They collapsed, didn't they? So much in control of this game, and then they just played an absolute mare of a game. They nearly lost it in the very last 3 seconds as well, to Lincoln. Wow. And to Blackpool. And Blackpool, obviously it was away, so they were going to try right up to the final whistle. So yeah, I can see something turning at Mansfield, although they have got their key striker, Lee Gregory, out for the season, apparently. So thank you, Roy, for that information. And, of course, we go on to the Lincoln side. The Lincoln side are pretty up and down. Pretty up and down. They have been really well. They have been up in the top 6 for so long. Then they sort of dove slightly below it. Now it's Lincoln in 13th and Mansfield are at home in 15th, and both sides have been in that chase for promotion in the top 6. Lincoln win, lose, draw, lose. Yeah, okay, they lost, but they lost 3-2 last time out against an extremely good Leyton Orient side, which is doing really well. It's Roy, one of my subscribers, one to watch, by the way, Lincoln, versus my one to watch, Mansfield. Let's see who's going to win. Well, I think there will be a winner here, and I think, funnily enough, that Mansfield, from that last performance, I think that they've shown they sort of like what the boss did in the Birmingham game, which was really important. I think he tried a few different tricks up front, and he was obviously trying something else. He changed the whole shape of the front and who was in it. And I think he's thinking, well, Lee Gregory's out. We're going to have to find some way of scoring goals. They did. Can they make that form right? Can they get the right people in there, the right support in there? I think they will, and I think they'll do it this time. Mansfield have just been a bit consistently poor of late. I'm going to go for Mansfield 2, Lincoln 1, and we'll quickly move on to the third of the 6 games, which is Shrewsbury versus Huddersfield, or Shrewsbury versus Huddersfield. Nobody from Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury gave me a comment. Please do tell me how the locals say it. Please, come on. Also, comment, like and subscribe as well. And we'll go on to the Shrewsbury Huddersfield. And we'll go lose, win, draw, lose for Shrewsbury. And it's really weird because they won Mansfield. But okay, they I think by that time they'd lost Lee Gregory. They won Rotherham 2-1, but Rotherham have been pretty garbage all season. And apart from a little chunk at the beginning. Who else did they lose against? Charlton. Well, yeah, they're up there, aren't they? Stockport County, yeah, up and down. Reading draw, and a Bolton win 3-2. These are really going up and down, and they can play really good, and they can play sort of average. I don't think they ever play really poorly, but they do play average sometimes and just get caught out. Huddersfield, who would have thought that they would be struggling? Draw, lose, draw, win. Any of those FA Cup? No, none of those. No, none of the FA Cup. Just make sure we're not talking apples and pears. The table is interesting, of course, because you've got Huddersfield still in 5th. They were doing so well. They're so far ahead of that sort of 5th, 6th slot that they could afford and did afford a few defeats, and they're still sort of 2 points ahead of 6th, 7th and 8th position. So they're now got to a point where they really do have to keep winning in order to keep away from the likes of the teams below them. So they won last time out against Barnsley. I thought that was a pretty scrappy game. Neither of them really wanted to lose that one, and that was the issue, wasn't it? I thought it was going to be a draw, and it looked like it was going to be a draw till the last ebbs of the game. I think that's it's showing that they can dig in deep now, and they can get something out of it. The 0-0 against Reading, I think, was also one of those where they okay, if we're not going to score, we're going to make damn well sure that they don't. And they're starting to sort of pull that back end a little bit tighter. Last game that was a bit worrying was probably the 3-2 defeat away at Northampton. So they haven't been playing that well. I think that they do have the power, though, against Shrewsbury, and I think they'll just ebb this one. And that improving defence, I think, is going to be key. I think it's going to be Shrewsbury 0, Huddersfield 1, and we'll move on to Stevenage Burton. I think it is, yes, Stevenage Burton. Now, we'll go quickly to the table. Stevenage are in 12th, Burton are in 23rd. A lot of draws for Burton, though. Remember that, a lot of draws. 11 draws so far this season. There's not many teams that have gone into double on draws, is there? We're doing one. I'm getting the lights out of my way. In fact, there's only three. There's only 3, and Burton are one of them. So it's an interesting point, because I think people are looking and thinking, if Stevenage do well here, because they can, they have played some pretty good football. They're not in 12th for no reason at all. However, they have been a little bit poor of late, and they don't seem to be really having that fight back mentality that as good as what it was at the beginning anyway. Win, lose, draw last time out for Stevenage, and Stevenage drew 1-1 against a pretty poor Peterborough side. You would have expected them to have won that one. It was at home, didn't do it. A little bit worried about the Stevenage side, to be honest. Burton Albion, though, win, draw, lose. They've only lost one of their last 6 games. Now, that to me is critical, because they have actually been scoring goals as well. They scored 4 against Rotherham, absolutely and they could have scored 5 or 6 against Rotherham, not just the 4. 2 against Wigan, 3 against Reading, none against Barnsley, 1 against Blackpool, and 1 against Bristol Rovers last time out, 3-1 defeat. I think that they're going to want to bounce back from that. They need to be able to get out of that bottom 4. And I think that they will be really eager to get points on the board here against a Stevenage side that is not doing so well. I think Stevenage 0, Burton Albion 2. Wrexham versus Leyton Orient. This is a humdinger of a Tuesday game. If you want to listen to a Tuesday game, this is the game to be listening to, because I'll be doing a live somewhere else. Wrexham versus Leyton Orient. We will look at the table. Most of you know it. Wrexham are in 3rd. Leyton Orient are in 6th, and they are only 8 points behind Wrexham, so they will be catching them up at this rate quite quickly. Wrexham, draw, lose, win. They changed their format slightly. They were doing 5 at the back, Wrexham, and they decided not to continue it, and they'd swap it around a little bit to 5 in midfield, 5 in defence. Has it worked? Well, it didn't work at first, and they seem to have worked out how to be able to swap between the two, and players of that skill should be able to do that, shouldn't they? So I think that Wrexham are getting back to their prowess this time, though, with an ability to go 5 mid or 5 defence. And that's good because it means that the opposition are going in there not knowing what they're going to come up against. However, Leyton Orient, win, lose against Man City, which, if you saw that game, I thought they were going to get something out of that one. I really did. Mansfield, win and another win. So basically 5 league games, 1 defeat. The rest of the other 4 were wins. 2 goals against Reading, 6 goals against Exeter, none against Stockport, their defeat, 3 against Mansfield, 3 against Lincoln. And we have to start thinking that they score more than what Wrexham do when they win. Okay, the numbers scored for Wrexham 1, 2, 4 against Port Vale, but that's Mickey Mouse Trophy. I don't really count that. 1 and 2. I think that Leyton Orient on the scoring front have the edge here. Defence-wise, though, I think Wrexham have the edge. So because of that, I think that this is quite likely to sort of cancel each other out. I'm going to go Wrexham 2, Leyton Orient 2, and we're going to go on to our last game, the Wycombe versus Bristol Rovers game. And Wycombe Wanderers are surprising to me. They really did do well. They thought they were going to do badly in the January transfer window. They didn't. They're second on 60 points with 30 games played. I should imagine, as far as if you were a Wycombe fan, you must be thinking that is absolutely amazing, insane. We wouldn't have expected that. Please put a comment down below and like and subscribe. Bristol Rovers, though, pretty average Bristol Rovers season, really. They're 30 games, 35 points, 17th position. A sort of pretty decent mid-table side, I suppose. Wycombe Wanderers win, draw, win, draw, draw, draw. You know, they are drawing rather too many. However, one was against Preston in the FA Cup, so 0-0, so we can't really count that one. But the other 3 draws are Northampton 0-0, Cambridge 1-1, Crawley 1-1, and I really would have expected them to have beaten Crawley in their poor period of the game. Didn't manage to do it. They did come back to equalise, but they just couldn't push it on after that. I did think they would do, looking at it in the watch-along. And it's a difficult one. I do think that Wycombe have by far the better momentum and the better squad. I think that Wycombe, the unexpected side up there, will do this relatively easily. I think Bristol Rovers, they keep sort of like not quite turning up, or just of late they've not been doing that. At the beginning part of the season, yeah, they were turning up or not. Here they seem to just have started to turn up most of the time. I think that we're going to see a Wycombe 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Don't get the wrong one, I'll get killed. So this is John S.'s Sports Channel over for another prediction video. Please do like and subscribe. Give me those comments, give me those likes, give me those subscriptions. Keep me going, guys. Come on. And it's another video. Like and subscribe. John S.'s Sports Channel over and out.